Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. I want to remind you, we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our official website, thestephennightshow.com. If you're listening to us, go watch us on our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show. Or if you'd rather listen to us, you can go to Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Just go to our website, thestephennightshow.com. All right, so look, it sounds like America, we apparently we have been ranked the second worst country to raise a family in 2020. So the study is based off of research by a travel site, Ashley and Lyric, according to the New York Post. Now, for the first time, they looked at the data, and the person one of the founders said they were in disbelief. So they determined the rating is out of 35 countries, and they determined it's based off of safety, happiness, cost, health, education, and time. Now, the U.S. clocked in at 34th place, just ahead of last place finisher Mexico, whose murder rate jumped to the highest it's been in nearly 2 years. The best family safe nations, according to this study, are Iceland, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. So they base it off of when it comes to health, like women when they have babies, America is the only country that does not require companies to give maternity leave. Then they also talked about the wages. They talked about health insurance, the out-of-pocket cost for spending, cost of living, income ratio. So to put cost in perspective, the average household blows here in the United States 31.79% of their income on childcare compared to other countries like Scandinavia, which is only 4 to 10% spent on their wages. Also, with school shootings, we had over 288 between 2009 and 2018, with Mexico coming in second place, and they only had 8, and all the other countries had 0. So let me ask you, are you shocked, Ms. Parker, that in 2020, America is out of 35 countries, we're ranked second to last?
Nope. I would just leave it there. Not shocked at all. It sounds about right to me.
And what would you contribute it to, do you think?
I think it's a combination of all those things. I think people are less happy here. I see that as I travel. I think the more you travel, the more you see how other people live and the difference, because life-work balance is important in other places. Happiness is actually something that is practiced and people are truly after. I think we're in an environment where we're living in a materialistic environment, materialistic mindset, but we've been programmed that way. And so everything else affects that. And it may be too, because especially for the Black community, first of all, Black women die the most having babies.
Yeah, giving babies, yeah.
Than any other developed country. Childcare is huge. It's funny because I think my job does a really good job at providing really well subsidized healthcare, and even have a doctor's office on site. We're in a campus environment similar to a Google campus. There is a doctor's office on site that you can use your insurance, and it's sponsored through the company. Everything but childcare. I was beside myself. This is 5,500 employees on site, an entire campus, and no childcare. I just could not believe that. That's how unimportant it is to corporations, that families are together, their mothers are with their children, their mothers are able to have proper health care for their children, proper daycare situation and childcare. Yeah. So that's how little on the priority list that is. So if a parent is worried about their child's health and well-being while they're at work, that's going to affect their happiness. It's going to affect their home. So I think it's all of the above.
Yeah. Chike, were you surprised at the study?
No, and steadily declining. So I have this analogy of how I look at America, and I think that all citizens are basically born into this country, and a carrot is placed in front of your face, and you're on a hamster wheel, and all they want you to do is produce. You're a number. You're supposed to be here churning it out, kicking it out to make the big machine work. They don't really care about you. They only care if you produce. If you don't produce, then you're worthless. And that's the lessons that they teach you. Be productive or be gone.
Very well said, Chike.
Yeah, I like that. Nair, what are your thoughts?
Was I surprised? No, I wasn't surprised at all.
I mean, out of 35 countries, I'm surprised that we were so low. I understand it's not being the top 10, but being so low, that did surprise me a little bit.
I wasn't surprised. I've been other places. You have too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And like Michelle was saying, Ms. Parker was saying, I remember the first time I went to France. This is before I knew anything, about anything really. And I remember one of my observations there when I came back, and I was sharing with whoever about France, and I remember saying, I was in many places there, and I remember saying, we would go to places sometimes in strips where businesses would be, and they would be closed. It'd be like 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. through in a weekday. And I would always ask, I was asking them about that. And this was often. And I asked about it, and one of my chaperones, they were like, yeah, here in France, the emphasis is not really on work. They said, sometimes these businesses open a couple of times a week, or maybe not. They said it's set up that they can live decent life and then come and open their business when they want. And I just was like, wow, like that was so foreign to me, because I'm coming from America, and you know what it is here. So it was to your point, Ms. Parker, that there are a lot of other places that kind of emphasize the principle of what life is, living a life to enjoyment, fulfillment, and spiritually, and with your family. There, the lunches can be 2 hours long. Lunch can be 2 hours long there, and then some parts of Latin America's, you can have a lunch and a nap, and that's a part of your sabbatical, whatever they call it. It's quite interesting.
Different.
La siesta.
Yeah.
The fiesta. Yeah.
La fiesta. When I was in Barcelona, I was there during their summer, and their government was like their government business, like the government ran buildings, the government operations were shut down. And I was just like, and my friend was telling me, he's from Barcelona. He was like, yeah, most law firms, he's like, almost everybody who's from Barcelona they're on vacation for 3 months. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, during the summer, people take off 3 months and go on vacation. Right. Because I met him in a few months earlier in Puerto Rico, and he said that he had been to Jamaica and he was going to spend his last month with his family in Barcelona. And I'm thinking to myself, how does the government close? And he's like, no, that's how it is. Like the government agencies, everyone's off for the summer. And that was just so baffling to me. And then when I went on a date here with someone a couple of years ago, I was telling him how out there were kids in establishment that here would be deemed, adults only. And he was like, what? Why would they do that? And I said, because it focuses on family. They don't separate. If we go to a day brunch, it's kids everywhere. The establishment have play little area for the kids, and families are together while their parents and children relaxing, having fun with their friends. Like it's not, I'm gonna leave my kids at home, and no, the kids are coming too. So I don't know. It's just a different lifestyle, and I just found like they seem to be really happy in it.
Well, you've seen a lot of people now want to be entrepreneurs and their own business owners because they want to create a different lifestyle.
Exactly.
That hustle bustle, and they know they have to work hard to be entrepreneurial, but to be able to take off.
Flexibility.
We had a guest last week. She said that she wants to take a day off to spend with her son. She can do that, you know what I mean, and make it up in other ways. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, our next topic. So Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife, she has never been fond of holding back her commentary or her jokes on Twitter. This time, however, she offers an apology after making a joke about Megan Thee Stallion that some fans deem ill-fitting for the current time. As you know, Megan Thee Stallion, she had admitted she'd been shot in her foot. She had a gunshot wound. Anyway, so while responding to a thread of jokes about celebrities and what they are most notably known for, Chrissy included a play on words about Megan and twerking. She said, I have a Charlie Manson joke and it kills. The original tweet read, Chrissy responded saying, I have a Megan Thee Stallion joke, but it needs to be twerked on. Chrissy says the joke was nothing more than a lighthearted play on words, but was perceived as a distasteful as Megan, was going through the difficult time right now, recovering from the gunshot wound. After being called out by some people on Twitter, Chrissy clarifies that she was not referring to that tragic incident at all. I used the play on words joke with a celebrity in something they're known for with Meg and twerking. I should have known that it was just not the right time, especially for something so dumb and pointless as that joke. So she said, making anyone feel reminded of a terrible time or letting you guys down sucks more than anything to me. So I'm sorry to Meg and anyone who thought this was about that incident at all. As you all know, Megan Thee Stallion went through that gunshot wound. She said that she will address it when she feels it's time, time to discuss it. So do you think, like, Chrissy Teigen is someone who is always on Twitter, she's always joking, she's always posting things. Do you think sometimes it can be too much and you put your foot in your mouth like this, Ms. Parker?
No, I don't. Honestly, I read the joke when she first posted it. I didn't think that she was talking about anything with Megan and that her gunshot. It sounded like she was following the joke. The point of the joke was to use a celebrity and whatever. Was it bad timing? Of course it was. And I believe in people taking accountability, and she took accountability very quickly when she realized it was offensive. Because I don't think she's a person who tries to be hurtful. I think she's a jokester, but I don't think anything she does, it comes from a place of I'm trying to harm someone else or be malicious in any way. So when she realized that the joke had offended and maybe been read the wrong way due to the current situation that Megan is in, I think she self-corrected and took full accountability and apologized, and it sounded sincere. And I think for me, that's what matters. I think that's, is if you ever, hear me talk about things like this, that's my constant thing, is taking accountability for when you do something. So I think that we should just move forward.
Chica.
So there's this thing that happens at my job. Say you have 2 employees and one is not up to snuff. The company will generalize things for the person that's not up to snuff so that everyone's on the equal playing field. Everything has to be so PC. Everything has to be even keel across the board. What I'm starting to see as it relates to the arts and freedom of speech is a slowly chipping away at the bit of our rights to be able to say whatever the hell we want to say without repercussion. Dave Chappelle talks about this in his stand-up a lot. And we kind of laugh at it, we wince at it, we have these conversations about it. But slowly and surely, everyone's sensibilities start to get in the way of my freedom to say whatever the hell it is that I want to say. Or what Chrissy Teigen wants to put on her Twitter. That's her Twitter. She can put a joke on there if she wants. If you're offended by it, be offended and move on. But she can say whatever the hell she wants to say, whether some people find it funny or not. I think it's your right to be able to express yourself. Hell or high water. You should be able to say whatever the hell it is that you want to say, and people need to get a grip and get over it.
All right. Naya?
Yeah, I don't need to add to that. I mean, Chica hit it on the head with that. Come on,
Yeah.
Pretty soon we won't be able to say anything.
I did not read that as a big deal. I was just like,
well, I don't know why they would assume Megan Thee Stallion twerking has anything to do with doing a gunshot.
With her getting shot. It doesn't even
does.
make sense that they would even put those two together.
Right. Her songs are about twerking.
The joke makes sense according to who she is. All she does is twerk on social media.
Yeah.
So
it was Megan's fan base feeling some type of way about what Chrissy said.
Yeah.
The Beehive goes in all the time about Beyonce.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I say. You can't.
Lord
you
knows.
say anything about Beyonce. You can barely give a compliment. You got to give it the right compliment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
Compare her to the wrong person, and they're gonna be on you. You know what I mean?
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's crazy.
Our very last story. So Kanye West has been making headlines from his new deal with Gap to his new music possibly dropping. If you remember, he's supposed to put out an album last Friday. It was rumored that he decided not to because Taylor Swift did a surprise album release at midnight on Friday. Anyway, and then his presidential campaign. But Kanye has one regret in his recent rants on Twitter, and that's hurting his wife. In a tweet, Kanye sends Kim an apology for his previous tweets, which reveals some of their private matters to the world. Now, if you recall, Ye spoke about Kim and his mother-in-law, Chris, wanting to lock him up in a hospital and even referred to their actions as white supremacy. Well, it looks like he had a change of heart, and he's acknowledged that he hurt his wife. He said, "I would like to apologize to my wife for going public with something that was a private matter. I did not cover her like she covers me." To Kim, I want to say, I know I hurt you. Please forgive me. Thank you, and always for always being there. Now, while Kanye was reportedly going through a tough bipolar episode, Kim released a statement in support for her husband and asked him for empathy in his time of need. She said, "We as a society talk about giving grace to the issue of mental health as a whole. However, we should also give it to the individuals who are living with it in the time when they need it the most." She said, "I kindly ask that the media and the public gives us the compassion and empathy that is need that we get through this." So what are your thoughts on, one, Kanye West? You know, he made those rants during his bipolar rant or whatever, but then publicly apologized. Do you think that was appropriate for him to publicly apologize, Ms. Parker?
You know what? That's family business, but I'm not even in the space to really deal with Kanye West's conversation right now, just because I know that he is mentally ill, and it's hard to really articulate, or you can't rationalize a person who's not rational. So it's really hard to have a conversation that is going to be rational about things that he does. But she made another statement after he was going on his rant about him, that, it's, you don't know what it is to live with a person, have a family member that have mental illness, and how challenging that could be. I do know, you know what I mean? I've had family members who are mentally ill, and bless her. I saw all the jokes going around that anyone who messes with the Kardashians, they end up being crazy. I was thinking the whole time, that woman must be going through hell, because I know what it is from a family member's perspective. It is, if you're not careful, you're gonna literally lose your mind dealing with them. It is the most challenging thing that the most emotional roller coaster that I have ever been on. Yeah. And so imagine that being your husband, and she has kids. I just, my thing is, I completely understand where she is. And I know, and I can, if she decides to separate herself and get some space, it's probably needed.
Chike, what are your thoughts? Do you think because he made the tweet public about the white supremacy and all that, do you think it was appropriate for him to apologize publicly to her?
Perception is truth, I guess. And they are in entertainment, so the public apology reads well. We have to jump into politics, because at the end of the day, with these people, they're running a brand. There's the West brand, and then there's the Kardashian brand. And because of Kanye's illness, it threatens the Kardashian brand, because he's up underneath that umbrella. Things that he say can damage or tarnish what they've built up. So he's like a live wire. They have to watch him. And yes, he should have apologized publicly, because whatever happened publicly. And I don't know how they're going to, but he needs to be silenced when it comes to certain things. I don't know how they're going to do that, but God bless him.
Yeah. Now, you're supposedly, Kim has asked the camera crew not to film Kanye or the kids while they're taping Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Do you think they're going to have to address this on the next season?
For TV, for ratings, perhaps. I don't know, but I do agree with that one thing, that the one statement she made about having that compassion. Listen, I don't know Kanye, and I'm not defending Kanye. I'm trying to make that very specific. It's not Kanye West that I'm after on this type of disposition I have. My disposition is this: if we're gonna try to destigmatize mental health, then we have to do the work to destigmatize it and not make. Kanye represents if he does in fact have this condition of being bipolar, or whether or not they're playing on this so that he can continue to say what he wants to say in the world and then go back and say it's bipolar, whatever, that's something else. But if it is mental health that's on display here, an issue, then we have to continue to be compassionate around it, because it could easily be another person in that scenario. And we want people to come out front and talk about their issues and get help for their challenges and issues, whether it's bipolar or other mental health issue. And if we make them afraid or outcast them, such as the way the world does with Kanye West, if he's ill, he's ill. So we have to remember that every time he says something that doesn't fit, he's ill, but he's famous, he's Kanye, he's doing what he's doing. We can't stop that, but let's continue to show compassion so that the people who are not famous and are struggling will come forward or go and get the help and not feel like something they can't talk about. It's already something that's not talked about. People are scared of being made fun of, outcast, whatever. That's my take on it.
And not only that too, but have a more compassionate view for the families who are dealing with it.
Yes. Yes.
Just like alcoholism have, health group, what is it called? Support groups.
Yeah.
And it's, if your parents have, if you someone have cancer, there's a support group for that. Mental illness takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
You can't tell someone how to deal with another person who have mental illness who's causing a lot of, trauma in their lives too, because that's really what it is. It's like their pain rolls over to you,
Yeah.
and so you need that support as well. You as a person who is a family member or somebody who is struggling with severe mental illness, as we see the outbursts and things that you can't control with Kanye. Right. It is challenging. We have to have that much compassion so people can be more open to helping their family members, right. Because otherwise we're just all it's gonna be a big cycle of, mentally ill people and no support.
Correct.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the added pressure of them being in the limelight all the time. You have a reality show. Where does reality end and the show begin?
Well,
how do you separate the two?
D.L. Hughley, they interviewed him and asked him about that, and he said that Kanye only seems to have bipolar rants when it comes to Black people. That he said that when it comes to Harriet Tubman and those things that he spoke about, slavery was a choice and all that. He said Kanye West is a billionaire and he has the resources to get treatment. He said that his concern are people that are everyday people who are living under bridges or homeless that have these issues and don't have those resources or have the access to the help that they deserve.
But if we're going to talk about mental health, we have to talk about mental health for everybody who have it, from the rich people that have it to the poor people under the bridge. Right. Right. And so, if Kanye didn't have those resources, he could have been one of those people who end up on the bridge. It does not matter. There's been historical figures that have suffered from severe mental illness throughout history. And so, and made it big and have businesses. Doesn't mean that you can't operate. The person that in my family who suffers, she represented herself in court several times and never went to law school. Smart as can be. That doesn't represent any of that. I mean, you can't quantify and mental illness. If they can do that, then they're not mentally ill. If they can make money, they're not mentally ill. That's not how it works.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna leave it there. Ms. Parker, see you on Mental Health Mondays, Chike Movie Reviews, and Naya, see you next Monday. Y'all have a great week, and we'll be right back after this.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
See ya.